In today's show, Mexican racists lose big in court to blacks who say they were abused by these Hispanic employees. Also, Trump gives Nigeria a final warning, threatening to stop all aid to the country if they do not do something immediately about the slaughter of Christians in the north of Nigeria. Chicago is only taxing black residents. We're going to get to the bottom of those claims later on in the show. And Somalis in Minnesota have been put under pressure as Trump threatens to revoke their protected status in the United States. Let's get right into this, shall we?
What up, y'all? Y'all see these headlines? Right? This is the biggest case. Latinos allegedly abusing black employees. They end up settling out of court. I'm going to tell you that. They settled out of court. And when they went to go interview the black employees, they said that Latino workers were calling them monkeys and waving bananas at them, and everybody in the warehouse will laugh at them. And I know y'all going to say, oh, it's not all of them. Where it was a warehouse full of them and 3 different companies. That's why this is considered one of the biggest lawsuits, biggest cases in California, right? And look, check this out. Even the attorney said that these cases are becoming more intense and more ugly. You could pause it and read it, right? Nooses, racial slurs. Now, if this was white people doing this to black people, this would be all over the news, right? This will be national news. I just don't understand why they don't report when it's minority against minority, right? If it was white people doing this, we'll hear about this. 3 different companies, and these Latinos, Hispanics, was in cahoots with white people. You see this? They were in cahoots with white supervisors, giving the black people the most the hardest work, the hardest labor to compete, to do, right? Now, look at this, though. 171 cases been settled. Racial discrimination, not only discrimination, but treating black people differently, because 71 cases within 10 years. What? And y'all talking about solidarity. What up, y'all? Y'all see these?
Electric car companies Fremont. Now, federal court has ordered Tesla to shell out nearly $137 million to Owen Diaz, a former employee, after he sued the company over a racist and hostile work environment. He's one of several people to bring a case against the company. NBC News Now correspondent Priscilla Thompson spoke to Diaz about what he says he endured at Tesla and what pushed him over the edge.
Like a weight lifted off my shoulder.
Validation and relief now setting in for Owen Diaz after a federal jury in San Francisco ordered Tesla pay him nearly $137 million for racial abuse on the job. Abuse that Diaz says is rampant.
I'm just the tip of the iceberg.
Diaz was contracted as an elevator operator at the electric car company's Fremont plant in the Bay Area for 9 months in 2015 and 2016. What kind of harassment did you experience there over the course of the 9 months that you worked there?
The N-word scratched into the bathroom stalls. They were calling me a clerk's monkey and the Spanish version of the N-word. This other guy was getting on the elevator with me and he was telling me, Ian, hurry up and push the button. You Ians are lazy.
Diaz says he became a target for write-ups after he began reporting the abuse. But it was after his 19-year-old son took a job at the factory that he decided something had to change.
I was taking him lunch and he had a Caucasian supervisor call telling him, I can't stand all you FNNs. So at this point, my son was looking for me for help. At that moment, my son had saw him break me. I just had to live with that decision that I made to take him in that factory. That's the biggest mistake I ever made in my life.
Diaz and his son are no longer among the roughly 10,000 employees working at the factory. Tesla has denied knowledge of racist conduct at the plant, but this week, a jury awarded Diaz $6.9 million for emotional distress and $130 million in punitive damages. Tesla did not respond to NBC's request for comment. In a note sent to employees after the ruling, Tesla's head of human resources downplayed Diaz's claims, citing, among other things, employees who testified that racial slurs, including the N-word, were used in a, quote, friendly manner, and usually by African-American colleagues, and that the company was responsive to Diaz's complaints, firing 2 contractors and suspending another, adding, quote, while we strongly believe that these facts don't justify the verdict reached by the jury in San Francisco, we do recognize that in 2015 and 2016, we were not perfect. We're still not perfect, but we have come a long way from 5 years ago. When you
You guys are gonna have to forgive me. For some reason, the program that I use to stream, when you switch to another window, the audio doesn't switch over. So just forgive me for that.
New York public works supervisor shouts white power at a black worker. Put him up. What the hell are these people thinking? A white supervisor in New York reportedly shouted white power as workers raised fists when a black employee walked into Long Island Public Works. Julio Germain, 40 years of age, began working for the County Public Works Department as an auto equipment operator in the Highway Division in November of 2019. He is a Black and Latino man. He says he endured multiple years of racial insults and racial slurs from coworkers at the county department in Suffolk. This is Long Island, New York. He says he was physically assaulted by a supervisor. That's called a crime, by the way, and repeatedly turned down for promotions. He is now suing the county for racial discrimination. By early 2022, remember he was hired in 2019, his work environment had become hostile and abusive. The complaint alleges on January 3rd of that year, his supervisor, Doug Butterhagen, who is white, told Mr. Germain that his new assignment was picking up garbage along roadways. The supervisor then approached Germain from behind and hit him on the back of the head with a closed fist, knocking his head down, the lawsuit says. Germain, feeling scared and threatened, did in fact file a police report of the incident. Another white supervisor named Dan Kofi, allegedly had a habit of making racist comments to his work crew, including yelling out, quote, white power, end quote, whenever he would see the Black and Latino man named Jermaine, which would usually be followed by other white employees raising their fist to salute him. Now I have more, but understand the context. If Black people are
All right, we don't need any more from Rashard Ritchie. So basically, we're finding out that this year, and don't ask me why that black box is around me. Technology is just doing whatever it wants to do today for some strange reason. But we're here. We made it. But so we're finding out that there's a lot going on in the realm of race-based lawsuits. You have companies like Tesla, Google, under fire, settling out of court for hundreds of millions of dollars, with Black employees who are saying that they've been discriminated against. You have Google; they just settled out of court for $50 million. 4,000 Black employees saying that they experience racial bias, being hired for lower level jobs, receiving lower pay than other groups, and being subjected to a hostile work environment. Google agreed as part of the settlement to analyze what was going on with their equity as far as pay. You have Tesla. They settled several. They had a $137 million lawsuit that they settled with a man, Owen Diaz. You saw him earlier, the dark-skinned dude with the bald head, where he settled for $90 million, which he received, and total the settlement was for $137 million, saying that he was basically there was open racism being practiced against him at work. There was some type of evidence presented. I can't just dismiss this because I don't think any company is throwing out 137 million bucks to one person because they're making some claim, hey, they were being racist towards me. There has to be some type of evidence there. And the reason why I felt it was necessary to cover these cases is because I have also experienced racism in the workplace at the hands of Hispanics. And what I see right now in the political scene of America, I see a lot of Black people, too many, if you ask me, out in the street, going against the police, protesting, doing all types of shenanigans, all in the name of standing in solidarity with Hispanics. I see Hispanics running up in Home Depot, going at it with the police, yelling, screaming, acting a fool, all in the name of defending illegal immigrants that they feel more connected to than their fellow American law-abiding citizens. The question for me, because I was on TikTok this morning on a panel where there were Black men speaking, Hispanic men were disrespecting them, interrupting them, filibustering them, not allowing them to speak because of what they were saying. And there was an army of Black women. When I say an army, at least 8 Black women on this panel who were joining in with the Hispanic men, bashing the Black men because the Black men were conservatives and speaking facts, and the Hispanic men were liberals arguing for the ability of their illegal immigrant relatives to be allowed to stay inside of the United States. Now, this is becoming an issue. It's always been an issue, but I'm looking at the national stories I'm looking at the situation with the workplace hostility. And I know that there are Black women who are also experiencing this hostility in the workplace. And I'm just asking myself, where do these people find the energy to defend a group of people who, in my opinion, have made it very clear that the minute they gain the advantage over you in the workplace, the neighborhood, at the basketball court, at the 24-hour fitness, they are going to take advantage of that in every way they can, and they're going to exploit it at your expense. Guys, I'm getting, what the hell is going on? Guys, I'm so sorry. This is not my fault. I don't know what the hell's going on with this situation, with this camera, with the settings on this thing, but this is not what I'm trying to give you as far as the visuals are concerned. I don't know what the hell is going on with this. It's I don't know. I guys, I have to go out and come back in. This is not okay for me. You guys deserve way better than. No, it wasn't the Obama phone internet. Can you all hear me? It wasn't the yeah, my tech was tripping, man. Tell me if it's better now. You guys tell me if it's better now. I had to get to the bottom of that. I can't be talking to you guys. It looks better now. Nah, it's all good. I had turned that up. Yeah, because yeah. Okay, so we're back. Thank you. Oh God, That really was pissing me off. It's always something. It's always something with this stuff. Okay, now we're talking about the Hispanic people acting racist in the workplace. But for some reason, African Americans feel compelled to defend these people. They hate black. They turn on any black person who even flirts with the idea of standing up to these people or voting in the way that makes it very clear to these people that if you don't come into this country and operate like somebody who is trying to assimilate into the culture of this country, well, we're gonna, and you come here illegal, or if you come here illegally, we will stand on the side of the people who are trying to deport you out of the United States of America. I always hear this thing about, oh, the Black Brown coalition and, oh, Black and Hispanics need to stick together. And I even hear Hispanic people talking that jive, right? But then when you go to work and the Mexican guy you worked with for 10 years gets promoted, and all of a sudden you're getting written up every other day, all of a sudden you're stressed out because you're going to work and you're worried about getting fired and not being able to pay your bills. Now all of a sudden you're looking around looking dumb, wondering what happened. And the only thing that happened is you didn't make it clear that in order for you to give someone your support and for you to throw your weight behind anybody in this country, any group of people, and I would say even including Black people, respect has to be mutual. There has to be an understanding. And one dude who is like, yeah, no, you're my brother. Man, you're like family. And he invites you over to his house to go eat tacos, or he gives you some of the tamales that his mom made at Christmas. That is not enough to ensure that you will not become the victim of their reprisal once they are put in a position of power. And this is on, there's no place, in my opinion, that this is on display more than in the workplace. I tell everybody, I tell African American people all the time, everybody is your friend until you have something that they want. Everybody is your friend until you have something that they want. Yeah, me and you could be cool at the job, Tito, until your cousin gets over here from Mexico and she needs a job and she's looking at you making that big money every week. And she says, hey, can you hook me up, give me a job where you work? And now the family is putting you on pressure, putting pressure on you because you're the big shot caller at the job. And now they need you to make space for him or her so that you can give them a job. Now, you look at the other Hispanic people, they know the play. They know what's going on. So you can't take their job away because they'll come at you with the same numbers that you come at everybody else with. So there's that one little radical, individualistic Black person. If you get rid of them, it ain't going to be too much of a fuss because, hey, 99% of the workforce here is Raza, right? They're not going to complain to see you gone and to see one of theirs come in. So you start bullying that person. You start picking on that person. You start throwing out, writing them up. Every little thing that happens, things that before they were allowed to get away with and that everyone is doing, all of a sudden the microscope is on them. And next thing they know, they're fired. They can't collect unemployment and they have to look for another job. And wouldn't you know it, your cousin is working here now. Oh, just because both of our last name is Gonzalez doesn't mean we're related, right? Everyone has experienced it. Everyone has seen it. Everyone has been through it if you're Black. But we're going to sit up here and act like when the Democrats tell us, hey, forget about all that. Forget about all that. We need you. We need you to come out here and protest and fight and argue and yell and hoop and holler to get things put in place that go against your own best interest. Well, you're a faithful soldier. You got to get right on out there, right? You got to jump out there and show the whole backside of your ass because the Democrats told you to do that on TV. And you can't be left out. You can't let somebody mistakenly think that you're a Trump supporter, right? Of course not. So you go out and you fight lose battles where when you win, you lose. And if you lose, right? And then you look up and complain and say, well, why am I not getting ahead? Why is my community not improving? Why don't I see myself represented in the highest places or in the upper echelon of society in large numbers? Well, you're selling yourself out every day. There's lawsuits being settled because this is going on. But yet all you see is money being handed out, but you don't see any real penalties happening to these companies. And then what does it do? It creates an environment where these companies say, hey, we just need to stop hiring them because they're not going to shut their business down because you're being discriminated against. What they'll do is they'll just stop hiring you because they are unable to provide you with a workplace that's healthy for you. And so at the end of the day, are these companies really settling with you to fix the situation? Or are these companies settling with you to just get rid of the problem? And they're learning and they're evolving and their methods and tactics are changing. Y'all better get it together. Y'all better get it together. Because what I see is, I see a president, maybe for the first time in our whole lifetime, who is taking steps that, in my opinion, greatly benefit the African American community. But every time I turn around, we're being told that we shouldn't support this guy. Every time I turn around, we're being told that we should not support the things that Donald Trump is doing. Oh, he's a racist. He's this, he's that. I don't see it that way. I see it as Donald Trump is getting rid of a lot of scams, a lot of illegal activity, a lot of unethical activity that has been accepted and allowed to exist, all in the name of making a profit. And while I am just as capitalistic as the next person, I am enough of a capitalist to understand that every chance you get to get a leg up over the next group of people or over the next person that's competing with you for an opportunity, listen, you better take advantage of it. You can be Mr. Nice Guy, Jimmy Do-Gooder if you want to. But when your kid needs a new pair of shoes, or they need food put on the table, or they want to go to Magic Mountain with their friends, ain't nobody trying to hear daddy lost his job because he went out and defended and fought for the people who end up discriminated against him and getting him fired. This is what we're dealing with. So have you guys heard anything about this situation with the nurses being disqualified, or what is it? Donald Trump has removed nursing programs from the list of occupations that would qualify as professional degrees. Donald Trump has basically put a cap on the amount of money people applying for nursing loans would be able to get in the course of a year and throughout the duration of their training in nursing school. Now, a lot of people are mad about this. I'm getting mixed emotions. I got some people who are just absolutely pissed off and this is not fair. That's what they're saying. And then I have other people who are nurses, people who are in the medical field, and they are very happy about what Donald Trump is doing. So we'll talk about it right now. And I guess we can let you guys all decide what you believe about it. Let me know in the comments if you think that Donald Trump removing nursing from the list of professional degree occupations is a good idea, or do you think that this is a horrible idea that will have a negative impact on America. We're going to play a clip.
Let's turn to a headline that is creating some backlash and confusion as the Department of Education left nursing and other professions off a list of, quote, professional degrees in a proposed rule over loans. And this move could affect how students finance their education in the future. There are hundreds of thousands of nurses and soon-to-be nurses impacted by this, as annual loans for new borrowers capped at $20,500 for graduate students, $50,000 for professional students, and a lot of outrage and backlash over this. Let's bring in right now the president of the American Nurses Association, Dr. Jennifer Menzik. Kennedy, I appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox, and rightly so, there's a lot of conversations happening about this. How does this directly impact nurses?
No, thank you for bringing up this topic. It is so important. And I'm really hoping this is just a miscommunication or a misstep with the Department of Education. But we're hearing from many nurses and many individuals who want to go into nursing, many individuals who want to become nurse faculty, and advanced practice registered nurses who are wondering if they should continue with this education. And so with these caps, the way they are proposing them, individuals wouldn't be able to have the access to the full amount of their tuition in many programs. So we're going to see people decide not to go be nurse practitioner. So we're going to see people decide not to go on to be nurse faculty. And this is going to exacerbate a shortage of primary care providers, as well as people who are teaching the next generations of nurses.
Yeah, and you mentioned just of the funding as people going to school for this, because it is an intensive process. And if you're a patient, you almost want it to be to get the best care necessary for this. Are you concerned about the perception as well? Because I know there's a lot of nurses out there that are already nurses, potentially going back to school. Just the perception from patients that they're potentially labeling nursing not as a professional degree. Do you think that hurts the profession?
No, I think we definitely need to clarify, and I think we need to make sure we speak very loud and clearly that nursing is a profession. Nurses are professional, and that we're not going to, tolerate anything less than this. And it's absolutely important to be included in that Department of Education definition, particularly when they've added to that definition that they're looking at graduate versus professional loans, and that the professional loans are those high return on investment. And like, what is more possibly higher return on investment than nursing and advanced practice registered nurses, such as nurse practitioners and faculty? We are short primary care providers in our rural areas. We are short nurses. We're going to have at least 6% shortage in nursing. Now we have over 5 million nurses, so 6% is a large amount. And we have tens of thousands of nurses retiring each year. We had over 80,000 applicants into nursing programs that were qualified that didn't get into their program, mostly because of a lack of nurse faculty. So we cannot allow this to stand, because it's going to have devastating impacts to the nursing profession and to the healthcare structure of the United States. Nursing is the backbone of the healthcare system in the United States.
Yeah, so she's going to say everything that she's supposed to say. But the reality is, I honestly support the declassification of nursing as a professional degree. And the reason this, in my opinion, needed to be done is because you have people taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of loans, and they are unable to pay these loans back. This is exactly what got us to the point where you have people trying to decide who's going to be president of the United States based on who's promising to give taxpayer dollars, most times the taxpayer dollars of people who never went to school to get a degree, to these students or to these nurses, these professionals, to pay off their loans that they took out, benefited from, and never thought to, hey, let me give half of my paycheck to this guy over here who never went to school, but he has a good paying job. But now they want that guy to give a significant part of his paycheck to the government to pay off their loans. That's the reality. every single person who sits up and says, well, these are professional degrees. Well, they're really not. They're not really professional degrees, because these certifications and licenses are not obtained primarily, well, many of them are not obtained at universities or colleges. They're vocational colleges, schools that, in my opinion, are robbing the American people blind. And the way they're doing that is they are charging ridiculous amounts of money for loans, for the tuition, knowing that the people who just desperately want to get inside of these nursing jobs will pay whatever without even questioning the cost, without even double checking the amounts or verifying what they're getting in exchange for these large sums of money, because those people are saying, hey, look, I'm just going to take out a loan and ultimately never pay it back. I mean, you can argue with me all day, but I've talked to several nurses, several people in the medical field since this news broke, and many of them have told me that they're happy that this is happening because the abundance of student loan money for these non-professional degrees is causing a deterioration of the quality of care within the medical field. You have people getting jobs as nurses because they got the licensing who aren't even qualified to work the fryer at McDonald's. People who can't even work the cash register at McDonald's are walking around in hospitals masquerading as nurses. You have people selling degrees, selling nursing licenses and nursing certifications in different states. Let's be realistic. If you know that their loan money is going to come through and you're a crook, why would you ever fail this person? I'm going to let this person go through the system. I'm going to pass them through every class because I know the longer I keep them, guess what? The more of their loan money I am going to get. They do a 2-year program, they're probably going to have to take out a loan for both years. And do you think that vocational school, American Career College, DeVry or ITT Tech or YO Tech or whatever it's called, do you think they're really about to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing something stupid like failing someone in a class and kicking them out of the program if they're proven to be incompetent? You can look all over the United States of America. You have dozens, maybe hundreds of schools that are fake nursing schools, but they are pulling real money out of the federal government through the student loan process. Now, the way it was explained to me by nurses was that, these people are basically giving out bullcrap nursing certifications or licenses. These people come in, they're not qualified, they're scamming the system from top to bottom. They're scamming the system from top to bottom, and they're walking away with hundreds of thousands of dollars of your taxpayer money, and they're just getting away with it. They're not being held accountable. But my ultimate gripe against this situation is this. We just had thousands of people begging the government to pay back their student loans, right? Which means you go to school, you take out loans, you finish school, you go get a job, and for whatever reason, you're still not paying back those loans. So it makes total sense to me that the Trump administration puts a cap on non-professional degrees, because you've told the government that, hey, even though we're making it through the process and we're getting into the jobs that we want, we are still unable, with the money that we're being paid at these jobs, to pay our student loans. So why would anyone want the government to continue to give out student loans, which you know that comes from taxpayer dollars, right? Why would you want the government to keep giving these people your money, knowing that there's a good chance that these people are never going to pay this money back? And that they're going to come along in 4 years or 8 years and say, let's elect the guy who's promising to use the taxpayer money that the taxpayer loaned us, right? Or that we got from the bank. Let's vote for the guy who's going to use taxpayer money to then turn around and pay the banks back for the loans that we took out and that we ultimately benefited from. It makes total sense to me. I believe Donald Trump is 100% right. I believe if you are a person who is not going to do what it takes to secure the finances or the funds to pay for your nursing degree or your nursing license, I don't think you're the type of person who's going to do what it takes to secure the funds to pay back your student loans. I believe you're going to default on your student loans and you're going to sit back and try to wait until we get a president or a Supreme Court that is dumb enough to use America's taxpayer dollars to pay back your loans. That's what I think is going on. Does anyone else have an opinion on this? I'll give you a few minutes to come up. Let me put the link in the comments. We might have some nursing professionals here. I have one Moose supporter. Moose was right, but they never come up. They know who's right, they know who's wrong, but they can never prove any of it. But yeah, so I'm with Trump on this one. I'm with the declassification of the nursing as a professional degree. You can go to any vocational school, learn, and as long as you could pass that NCLEX exam, you can become a nurse. That's not a degree. Is that a degree? Is nursing a professional degree? Or is it just a license? So you're just getting a license. Right. You're getting a license when it's all said and done. Where's the degree in that? Now, you can go to a university, and I believe you can get a degree in nursing. I'm not 1,000% sure. But yeah, you shouldn't be able to take out $200,000 worth of loans to go get a degree or a license that really shouldn't even, it's a license. So you shouldn't be allowed to take. That's like somebody saying, hey, can I take out a loan to get my driver's license? No. You're not, the course of study that you're undertaking is not that expensive to justify these big loans that these people are taking out. And like I said before, it's just the vocational schools and these second-rate colleges. They're just they're basically just raping the American student loan system and the financial aid system. Nursing, you can get a 4-year degree in nursing, but many of the people who are nurses do not have a 4-year degree. If you go to college and you do 4 years and you become a nurse or even a master's level nurse, I could understand the cost. I could understand that. But the problem is you have people who are just going to get licensed and they're going to American Career College or Brooks College or, all these little colleges. And those colleges are hitting the government for like 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, saying that that's what it takes for them to teach this person enough to where they can pass the NCLEX to get their nursing license. And we know that this is not true. We know that this is not true. I gave you guys the link in the comments. If you have expertise in the medical field, click the link, come on up, let us know what you know. And if you don't, guess what? My opinion is going to win. But just don't say that you didn't get an opportunity to shed some light on the situation. Nurse practitioners, all that. I believe, okay, so if you can get a loan for $100,000 for nurse practitioner or nurse anesthesiologist. Okay, why don't you go pay the rest? Go work and get the rest. Because you have people who are anesthesiologists, they're going to be covered. You have people who are going to go into medical school to be doctors. They're covered. What's happened is you've allowed all these little what should I call them? These little like additional occupations within the medical field to come in, and the vocational schools are exploiting that. I mean, you have vocational schools with people taking out $20,000 loans, $40,000 loans to become a damn phlebotomist. It don't cost no $40,000 to teach somebody how to do phlebotomy. And then you got a bunch of nurses who can give shots and draw blood and do all that. So why do you need a phlebotomist? You just hire a nurse and she can do all that. All that's covered. And the ultimate problem is with the pay. The pay is being lowered in the nursing field because you have so many people who are able to enter into that field by just going to school for a year. They have 2-year programs. They have 1-year programs. They have 4-year programs. Here's the issue. You need to make sure that people are not just pilfering the student loan system. And then later on, these people are coming back saying, hey, man, I can't afford to pay my loans. What up, P Sizzle?
Hey, Brandon. Really great content. I was always just wanted to chime in, and I really liked your what you were talking about with African Americans and Mexicans, like pretty much like them trying to force African Americans to like care about their issues. All I want to say is like I'm not black, but from what I learned at school, this country was actually built a lot of it was built by Black Americans. And they in no universe should they ever like coward to the policies of like illegals or Mexicans or Latinos. And I say that because America as a whole was founded as like X amount of colonies that were settled and for the British Crown. And then over time, America expanded. There was even a Texas-Mexican War where America won land parcels for Texas. And then eventually America and the colonists ultimately expanded into the West Coast, Colorado, the Rockies. And like my overall point is that like, and I hear this a lot on No Jumper too, where it's like, this is our country, this is our land. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not the country or land of Mexicans. Like, they have their own country, it's called Mexico. Americans have their own country, it's called America. And them trying to just like subjugate everybody else to favor what they want in terms of their policies, and make all of us like homogenous in the way we think. I think it's just really, really bad. And I just wish more and more Black Americans realize this, that like these people really only started coming over here the last 60, 70 years, if we're being honest. And it really exploded after Bill Clinton with his NAFTA trade deals and loosening up the borders. And now you look at our demographics, almost half of our country is Mexican or Latino or Hispanic, and they are trying to change the history by making it seem like this is their country, when in reality, this country was created by Anglo-Saxons, the British, Irish people, Italians, and more important than them, Black people have been in America since the 1600s as slaves. And they fought through the civil rights movement. They fought through segregation. They fought through with MLK. This goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. And I wish there was more independent thinking Black men and women like yourself. But that's really all I wanted to say. And I wish like more people were aware of this, because I'm not Black, I'm not Mexican, and I fully like understand what's going on. It's them trying to steal history and rewrite it.
Well, and here's the thing. Mexican people said that they would take this country back, and I think they found a way to do it, and I think they have the solidarity to do it. The thing here is you are giving people hundreds of thousands of dollars, then they're dropping out. You're giving people hundreds of thousands of dollars of loan money, and then they get the job, they're making all this money, and in a lot of these Hispanic people, they operate outside of the lines of like credit. Like they know how to get the Tesla on the CPN. They know how to get the LLC and the doing business as and get everything they want. So they'll renege or default on a loan like it's nothing, and they'll still go buy a house and put it in their mom's name or their cousin's name or whatever. Africans do it. Many other cultures do it too, but I don't see a whole lot of black people doing it in America. But these are the type of scams that are being run. That's why I said the scam is over. The hustle is over. These people are not playing. They're not operating within the American system in good faith. They're literally exploiting all the loopholes. And some people might say, well, that's good for them to do that. But ultimately, it's not good when they're expecting my taxes to go up to pay for their nursing degree, their phlebotomy or nursing anesthesiologist degree, and they're rolling around in a freaking brand new Tesla or a big ass truck that costs $200,000. And that's why I'm glad that Trump is putting an end to it. And if you can celebrate taking advantage of the system, well, you shouldn't be mad when Donald Trump comes through to fix or regulate the system. You don't need a $200,000 student loan to become a nurse. And what's stupid about this is that all this is going to do is make the cost of a nursing license go down. So why would we want to keep something in place that's artificially inflating the price of an education? And next, they need to do this crap with these people getting all these and they are doing it. They're doing it with these people getting these damn sociology degrees and these information systems degrees and these degrees in physical education and these degrees in kinesiology and all these bullshit degrees. Because why? These people are taking out, some of them, more money than the person that's taking out for medical school. And it's like, wait. You spent $300,000 over the course of 4 or 5 years to get a degree in sociology so you can make $40,000 to $50,000 a year? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And what we know is that because of the low-paying nature of these jobs, they will never pay back these loans. Go ahead, Africulture.
Yeah, man. What a like you said, information system. I don't know much about like sociology and all that, but like information system. I'm not trying to knock nobody job down and then like that, but that should be something that you take a course for, like like being an electrician or something like that, and then you go get that bread. You know what I'm saying? Like the nursing stuff. Like I don't know, man. Like I just don't like the pushback people giving. Like they making everything about race and all that. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like Trump shouldn't even be the blame. I think y'all should be blaming these schools, like these vocational schools, because they grifting.
Oh, 100%. And the thing with the information systems, and it's not like technical, right? That job, they do have a degree in information system. That's like for technical jobs like computer science, all that. They have a degree in something called information systems that has been labeled as the easiest degree to get in college. Like basically, you can go to a college, and if they offer a degree in information systems, you like barely got to show up to class and you can get a degree in this in like 4 years. That's because I looked that up years back. No, seriously, it's crazy. I looked this up some years back. What's the easiest degree to get? Oh, information systems. And you will find people who are like, yeah, man, I got a degree in information systems. And it sounds really prestigious and awesome, but really they just were in a class that was talking about like outdated computer technology that's not even in use anymore, but they just never scrubbed it from the college curriculum, like from the college offering of classes and degrees. But yeah, it's the vocational schools. They're taking full advantage of this. A lot of them are run by, people who are trying to fraud. people who are just trying to collect government collect money from gullible people who most of them will never finish the program.
And I know
And
that for a fact because, not to cut you off, I just
no, you
want to
good,
throw
you good.
something in there real quick. I know that for a fact because I had a partner that went to ITT Technical Institute, you know what I'm saying, a couple years, like maybe like a decade ago, or whatever, they graduated. Couple years later, you know, they got something in the mail talking about some type of suit, some type of lawsuit that was put against them and all that, you know what I'm saying? And they actually reimbursed it a lot of money to some of those students. So not saying that that speaks for all the school, those vocational schools, but you know, it's living evidence, you know, that you can reflect off of to verify what you're saying.
No, 100%. And it's just like there's going to be a campaign against this. And I know that the people who are going to lead that campaign are going to be the people who own these garbage schools. I mean, if you come to California, you got quote unquote nursing schools. There's like, it's in a shack. Where I live on the east side of town, there's like this little tiny house. It wouldn't even be a 1-bedroom house. It's a shack. And they're calling that a nursing school. I have not seen a single person go into that place. I have not seen a single person come out of that place, and it's been there for 20 years or more. It's been there since I was a kid. It's just a farm for stealing student loan money and grant money and financial aid. There are people who have figured out how to scam the government out of financial aid money. Because if the person drops out of school, you know, the school doesn't have to pay that back. They still get to keep
Exactly.
that money.
Hmm.
And that's what Trump is getting at. And a lot of people are just emotionally arguing against it. No, it's going to hurt the medical field. No, it's not. The chicks who want to be nurses and the dudes who want to be nurses, they're going to become nurses. But what you're not going to do is go overpay at the taxpayer's expense. And what you're also not going to do is scam the United States government, who, you know, the United States government, they guarantee a lot of those loans. Like, they insure a lot of those loans. If the bank gives money and you don't pay it back, the government does pay the bank for a lot of those loans. But I love what Trump's doing. I love the fact that he's tackling these issues head on and not just like doing nothing like what Joe Biden was doing. And people aren't going to like that. But if you want to make an omelet, you're going to have to crack some eggs. And I think in the long run, we're going to see major benefits from Donald Trump doing this. Any final thoughts on this topic?
Man, I think that's a fact. And I just want, before you, well, I don't
You
know what
good.
you were about to do, but
No, go
I
ahead.
just,
Whatever.
yeah, I just wanted to say, I definitely believe you because I seen it firsthand. And also, I'm real happy for that dude that filed that lawsuit and won all that money. That boy, he don't gotta work no more, bruh. Like, that's what's up, dog, for real.
Hey, seriously. I'm happy for him too. It's like, it's true. We look, Gito, you know, and I know that this happens in like any workplace where there are Hispanics and blacks working together. Hispanic people love kissing white people's ass, and they love trying to low dog black people in an effort to, like, I guess, move up the ladder or be in control. You know, if they put a Hispanic manager in charge at your job right now today, you're gonna be sweating bullets. Like, damn, I hope this fool don't like just fire me just because he doesn't like me, or just because
Right.
he has a friend who needs a job. We know it. There's it's no surprise how Hispanic people have taken over the entire workforce in California. They're probably working on it in Texas, right? But how is it that
Oh
this one
man, shit. That's an
how is it that how is it that this one group of people come in and within 10 years they the managers at every job? They came in picking fruit, and now they the manager at every freaking job. Jobs where they don't even have experience. Filipinos too. in nursing, right? How are these people moving to the top? You don't just get in and work your way to the top through meritocracy. And then like everybody in the upper level looks like you. You think that Hispanic people took over the trade unions in California just because they work hard? No. One gets to the top and he brings everybody else up. Well, in order to bring everybody else up, how many people do you have to leapfrog who are more qualified or have more seniority to get them up there, right? Who do you have to screw over to get up there? I have a friend who's a construction worker. His name is Will. He been in carpentry for like 30 years, right? He's a journeyman. Bro said when he goes to the work site, right? He said he has to pretend like he's doing something just so he'll look busy, even if his work is done. Because he said if one of the Hispanic supervisors come and see him and he doesn't look busy enough, they'll send him home and replace him with a Hispanic person and just say, hey, yeah, bro wasn't working. He wasn't doing this and doing that. And he said it's their word against yours and you're going to lose every time. And if you press the issue too much, guess what? You're going to stop getting calls for work. So, and a lot of people are like, I'll file a lawsuit. I'll do this. I'll do that. A lot of these companies, they're so used to, like, they know how to get around the legal action, right? They know exactly what to do to get around the legal action. But go work at a grocery store in California. Go work at a fast food place in California. I promise you, unless you're the one black person in there kissing straight Mexican booty, guess what? You are going to have the lowest hours every week. You're going to have the shift that nobody wants. You're basically going to have to accept the garbage shifts that no one wants in order to stay employed there. And the minute a Hispanic person come in that they feel like, hey, this guy is going to be a good replacement, you're gone. You're gone, or you're going to be abused to the point where you quit. What do you think, Gito?
I definitely agree. I've experienced the unfair game with the essays as a Texan, bro. I've experienced that in my lifetime, so I know that's a fact. The same thing y'all experienced in Cali is the same thing we experienced in Texas because we all on that same border. You know what I'm saying? So they got easy access to our states, and they just move in. You know what I'm saying? They might be cool with a black dude or whatever. They get that job, and then boom, all the whole La Raza, they all of them in the company. You know what I'm saying? And they will replace you, bro. They will sabotage your job. And I ain't trying to like make people hate Mexicans or nothing.
No, this ain't
You
even
know,
racist. I've experienced.
yeah.
When you're done, I'll tell y'all the story of what happened before we move on with me.
Oh yeah, they will sabotage your job. Like sometimes you might have to take pictures of your work because they'll try to sabotage you, bro. Real talk. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because they bought that cash and they gonna do whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying, to get what you getting, so they can move to the next level or get to the level that they trying to get at. You know what I'm saying? And please believe it. Now some states, you know, because I work with a lot of brothers from New Orleans or whatever. They say, you know, black men, you know, that got skills, you know, they at a higher rung in the ladder than Mexicans are. Like white people don't look at them as like good workers. You know what I'm saying? But you know, most like Texas and all the other places, I don't know what all these other people live at, you know, but that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? Mexicans, they have a reputation for working hard and all that and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? You better watch your back. You know what I'm saying? With all that black and brown shit.
And if you supervised Hispanics like I have, that is just a lie. There are people of every culture who work hard. You got
Oh, I
black
know.
people who work hard, you got Hispanics who work hard, and whites that work hard, but you got people in every culture that are lazy as hell and ain't
Facts.
good for nothing, sitting on a butt, not doing it. Dude, I had a dude named Jorge. This fool would come to work drunk every single day. Oh, we love Jorge. You know, we call him T.O. He's uncle. I'm like, no, he's getting paid to not do anything, but go drink in his car on his lunch break and walk around the damn parking lot drunk. And guess what? If you said anything, they were going to get you out of there. You was getting transferred. If you said anything about T.O. Jorge, bro. I used to work at a grocery store, and I'll tell you how I end up not working there anymore because I worked there for 6 years. And the way I was a manager, actually. And the reason I stopped working there was because my boss was black. She was a black female. I'm not going to say her name, but she was real cool. She ended up getting transferred from the store that we were at. And I got a Hispanic boss. Now, my whole time working there, 6 years, I'm under this black lady, right? Everything's cool. I'm moving up the ladder. I'm getting paid real good, taking care of the fam. I get this Hispanic manager. I'll tell you his name. His name is Philip. He's an asshole. He was a failed Pop Warner football coach. That's all he cared about was Pop Warner football. I'm like, dude, you're making $100,000+ a year and your whole obsession is like Pop Warner football. So while you're out working, busting your ass, he's in his office looking at video clips of Pop Warner football, trying to draw up plays and get ready for Saturday, right? So one day he asked me some stuff about football. And I'm just like, I'm answering his questions, but I'm not there to talk about football. I'm there to work, do my job. So I'm on the forklift and he's trying to talk about football. And so I'm just doing my job and I'm kind of just casually answering, but I'm working, right? So he says, so I turned and looked at him because he said something really dumb. And I said, have you ever actually played football, Philip? Have you played football yourself? He was like, oh, no, man. I played when I was in the 9th grade in high school, but then he just start making up all these excuses, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I kind of give it a little chuckle, right? Because I thought that was funny. Guys living vicariously through the kids, and that's okay. He's there. I'm not. Somebody has to be there, right?
Facts.
Bro, this guy calls me in the office 2 days later, and he's like, yeah, you're suspended. I say, okay, I'm suspended for what? Now I'm getting paid good, and I'm a manager, mind you. He says, oh, yeah, you're suspended pending investigation. So I said, okay, how long am I suspended for? Because I'm like, I can use the time off. I knew I didn't do anything wrong. So once I prove my innocence, I would get my back pay. He's like, yeah, you falsified a WIC check. So I'm looking at this fool and I'm like, falsified a WIC check? How did I do that? Well, yeah, you accepted an expired WIC check. And I don't know if you guys are old enough, but there used to be checks, paper checks that you would get for WIC, right?
Yep.
And here's the thing, how I knew this guy was full of shit. When the WIC check is expired, the machine won't process the check. It's literally like check systems. You put it in and it'll basically flash and it'll say WIC check expired. It can detect if the WIC check is expired. So unless I'm some type of computer engineer, there is no way in hell I can falsify a WIC check, right? So this guy's like, yeah, you falsified a WIC check. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, Philip, that's impossible. How can you do that? Oh, you used your override to do it. But here's the problem. You can't even use the override to do it. This is a state system. You can't override the state saying we're not going to pay for these groceries because this WIC check is expired. So he swears I did. I say I didn't, whatever. So he writes me up and I get suspended for 2 weeks. Man, this guy, so I had to go to the union, right? Whatever. And the union is like, hey, this guy wants to fire you. He has some type of vendetta against you. He doesn't want you there. I say, all right, man, cool. I said, but if I quit, can I get unemployment? Because I didn't want to work there anymore anyway. So I said, can I get unemployment? They said, if he fires you, you can't get unemployment because you were fired. But if he lays you off, then you can get unemployment, right? So he ends up putting in the paperwork for my termination. And before he put in the paperwork for my termination, I used my suspension date as my layoff date. So basically I played it like when he suspended me, he was laying me off for 2 weeks. So I was not employed, right? Basically, long story short, they do this investigation. I end up getting my full unemployment benefits. I end up getting my back pay. I end up getting everything because basically this guy terminated me. It was a wrongful. He didn't even terminate me. It was like I got laid off. They
Sound
chose
like
to take.
retaliation.
Yeah, I should have let them fire me because then I could have got a lawsuit, right? But because I was like, nah, this day where I got suspended was my layoff day, the company ran with that. They were like, yeah, you got laid off. You didn't get fired, right? So I couldn't get a lawsuit. That was my bad. But I got out of there, and thank God I did. You know, things went way better when I got out of there. But the thing was, that guy was just Hispanic. He just, and let me tell you this. When that guy got there, like immediately, like all the black people got transferred. The only reason I didn't get transferred is I was a manager, and you can't just the district manager has to transfer a manager. A regular store manager can't transfer a manager, right? So I'm looking around and I'm like, where are all the black people that used to work here? Deshaun and Renee and all these people that was up here. We had like a almost majority black store, right? Working. Bro, within a month of that guy working there, those people were gone. They were gone. And I was like, I'm looking around like, where's Renee at? Where Deshaun at? Deshaun was my dog. We'd be laughing and joking. Bro he was like a manager right under me. He was like the closing guy. So I we have fun. We been there at night joking and shit, buying in and out and all that, whatever for each other. Man, they got rid of his ass. They sent that dude like an hour away to go work somewhere far. But I've experienced it. I've had Hispanic people who were in charge of me that didn't even know how to read. Okay?
Yep.
Gino couldn't even read.
I know it.
The girl used to ask me, her name was Anna. She probably still working that company. This woman used to make me write her signs. You write signs for like sales and stuff. She would make me write her signs and be like, oh, mijo, what does this say? And then gonna try to write me up, gonna tell me that I asked for some girl's phone number across the register. I'm working the check stand, right?
Yeah.
Married and all that. But I'm asking for some chick's phone number across the register. I said, first of all, why are you watching me when I'm on a check stand? You got other shit you need to be doing, but you're watching me. On top of that, what I handed her wasn't my phone number, you idiot. I'm smart enough to memorize the number if I asked for it. I knew the girl, and her daughter had really bad eczema, and my daughter had eczema real bad too. So she was always coming in the store buying hydrocortisone cream, right? And I'm like, that hydrocortisone cream is not going to do anything for that eczema. You're going to have to get some steroids for that to make that eczema go away so the skin can heal, right? She said, well, what's the name of the steroids that I need to ask for? Because the doctor just keeps telling me to buy over-the-counter hydrocortisone, the stuff in the red thing, the cortisone 10.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it's called like triamcinolone or whatever. If anybody who's had eczema knows this stuff, starts with a T, it's a long name, right? So while I'm on the register, right, I'm like, I write down, I used to know the name of it. My daughter probably ain't used that in years because she kind of grew out of it. But I wrote it down. I got a piece of receipt tape, wrote down the name of the medicine, handed it to her. This hoe said, you were giving her your phone number. There you go. Triamcinolone. Yeah, that, right. So she's like, oh yeah, you were giving her number. I said, so you're telling me that from these grainy ass CCTV cameras, you can see what was on that piece of paper and know that I was giving this girl my phone number. If I gave her my phone number, why didn't she just pull out her cell phone and plug my number into her phone? She just, look, man, the bitch was just retarded. That's what was wrong with her, right? And she was sleeping with our district manager too. But I called his ass. I said, look, man, I don't know what's going on with your little girlfriend, but she's over here trying to go too hard over something she don't know about, and she's about to get y'all sued. And he was like, oh, no, don't worry, Brandon, I'll take care of it and shit. And he ended up transferring her to his home store where he like had his office and all of that. But this is the type of shit we be talking about. Like, bro, I never experienced that from no black manager or no white manager.
Nope.
Only people who was fucking with me, because I used to do my job, okay? I was scheduled to be off at 2 a.m. I'd be in that bitch till 6, making sure that store was right. Now they was paying me triple time, so I didn't mind, right? I come home at 6, don't even go to sleep, take my baby to school, right? Getting my shit, doing my job as a man, right? Now you coming trying to mess with my money. You're coming trying to mess with my bread. I don't know how somebody could fix themselves to do something like that. And for the sake of time, I'm not even going to get into the story of when I worked at this oil change place with this Carlos Villanueva dude. He's a piece of shit. That dude wanted to bring his brother or cousin into the company. So he tries to transfer me an hour away to Riverside. Oh, no, fool. It's the Riverside store, 30 minutes. You could just get on the freeway and it's right. I said, fool, I ain't about to drive no hour away to make like $12 an hour.
That's what he need to do. His partner.
He needs to jog his fat ass over there. At that time, I'm like, you want me to drive an hour for $12 an hour? Riverside, bro. Like, if you've been to Cali, Gito, that's an hour away. That's an hour away. I'm like, and I call the corporate office like, can bro even transfer me that far? And the lady's like, technically, you know what I'm saying, based on your contract, yeah, he could transfer you to any store within like 100 miles or something like that, right? And you don't really realize how far 100 miles is until somebody try to send you to work at a store 100 miles away, bro. That's far. But yeah, so I saw that fool the other day at this Mexican food place. Oh, what's up, fool? You try to walk up and shake. But I looked at that. I almost fired on his ass. I almost fired on this fool. Like, bro, you gonna try? I had told this story before with the dude, the buff dude, Ernie, who was on coke.
Yeah.
Man, this dude, yeah, fool. I transferred you to Riverside. He came in there excited. I said, and I guess he might have been to prison before too, but the way he was acting, I'm like, bruh, yeah, Isaiah Zell, it's 2 hours away now. It used to be an hour, but the traffic and stuff has increased exponentially. But yeah, it used to be about an hour back in the day, but now, yeah, that's a 2-hour drive. But so when we talk about this stuff, I just don't want anybody to think, oh, we picking on Mexicans. The real ones will tell you. They'll tell you, hell yeah, fool, they describe. Bro, I had a homie, and I'm not trying to get too much into the stories because we're going to go to this next thing where Trump warns Nigeria the aid's about to be cut off. I had a homie named Raul. He worked in the same store as me, right? When I worked at the grocery store. This dude, I had an assistant manager. His name was Scott. He was Mexican too. That dude used to have just he hated me. I don't know why. Bro could not stand me. But this is before I became a manager. This dude used to pick on me when I was just like a little box boy or whatever. Bro would come to me. How many hours you got? I said, oh man, I got 40 hours. Not anymore. He'd go in the thing and change the schedule. And I found out later on that was illegal to do, right? Bro, change the schedule. Cut my hours all the way down to 13 hours.
Damn.
I'm like, bro, 13 from 40, right? Bro, one day I had like some more responsibilities. I had got like an apartment, whatever, and all that. And my daughter was newborn. And bro knew I had just had a baby on the way and stuff. So my store director, Deidre, she was like giving me good hours, like 40 hours, 36 hours. That was cool for me. I could pay what I had to pay. Bro, like he's mad at me about something. I don't even know why bro was tripping. Bro goes in and cuts my hours down to 18 hours. Bro, I didn't even know he cut my hours. I called in and was like, hey, what day do I come into work? And somebody was like, oh, you don't work until Thursday. I said, that's a lie, because when I looked at my schedule, I just looked at the hours and I didn't look at the days, and my schedule said 40 hours. So you ain't getting 40 hours just working Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That just ain't happening, right? So I know bro cut my hours. So I go to the job. I go into the break room. I look at my hours. Bro, I was about to go beat this fool's ass, like straight up. I'm coming like out of college. I'm buff as hell, coming off of jogging 2 miles a day, just squatting like 740, benching 545. I'm strong. I'm cock strong at that point. And I'm like on a mission to like hurt this dude. Man, I'm headed straight to the office, right? Because you go to the office and it's like behind the customer service desk. I'm headed straight. I make a beeline out of the break room to that desk. Man, this guy Raul catch me by the arm. Hey, where you going? Where you going? I said, oh no, where I'm just going. He was like, nah, fool. I see your face. I could tell you up to no good. Come on, buddy, come talk with me. So we go outside. He's like, what the hell's going on with you? And he was like the third manager under the store director, the co-manager, and then it was him. He was like higher up than me. I was just I was a cashier, right? And I'm telling him what's going on. I'm like, I'm just gonna knock this fool out and fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about this job like that. He's like, no. He was like, he was like, give me your phone number. I gave him my phone number. He was like, I'm gonna call you every morning. You better answer the phone. And I swear for like a month, bro called me, hey, come to work. He would call me at 6 a.m. Come to work. And I was working crazy, like 50 hours a week. My paychecks were bad as bruh. Bro. My paychecks were stacked up. He was calling me like 6 a.m. because I think Jaime came in at 10. So bro would call me at 6. So I have me like a nice 4 hours. And then bro would just tell me, you want to go home or you want to stay? I'd be like, I'll stay. And I would just stay. I was working like 6 to 6 every day, 12 hours. And you know, in the grocery store, they got to pay you double time after 8. So I was getting double time every day. And then once you hit 40, they got to pay you like triple time. So I was, I was eating like a Mexican. And then I understood. I said, see, this is why the Mexicans always at work. They making real money at low-level jobs because they're getting an abundance. Doubling, yeah, they're getting an abundance of the hours. And when you go home, the Negro, he can't wait to go home. The Mexican, like, nah, I stay for 4 more hours because they know that the 4 hours that they stay is gonna be bullshit time. They're just gonna be hanging out, chilling. If it's midnight and someone say I'm willing to stay till 5 a.m, that whole time they're gonna be back there chilling, not doing nothing. They're gonna be in the break room fucking around getting paid. You know, we just don't, I don't know if we just don't understand that or we just don't want to get in trouble or whatever, but Hispanics really don't care. They'll all walk off the job on your ass. You got any last thoughts on this? We did a whole show on this basically.
Yeah, man, y'all just, everybody don't got your back, man, just because all that liberal shit, you know what I'm saying? Like black and brown, everybody don't have your back. I've been dealing with Mexicans, the real Mexicans. I've been dealing with that type of shit my whole life in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Take it from somebody from Texas and somebody from Cali. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, you got people in places where they don't even interact with Hispanics at all, trying to argue you down. Oh no, you're wrong, this and that. But I'll tell you who feeling it right now. These black women and these black dudes in these tech fields with these Indians. The same way they doing y'all for these Indians, that's the way they was doing people working regular low-level jobs with these Hispanics. You fired, but they didn't hire 3 Indians. Well, I thought y'all said budget cuts. How y'all cut the budget and hire 3 more people?
Because them Indians get paid a lot less.
Yep, they'll come work. They told you that tech was going to be your gateway to the upper middle class, right? These Indians are coming there and do that same job for $50,000 a year, like nothing, and be happy about it.
Facts, but I don't want to mess up your show, dog. Appreciate that.
No, you good. Thank you, man. He eating. What you eating, fool? He's smacking on some chicken. But hey, yeah. So hey, look, I already messed up the show at the beginning. This basically just a freebie, man. I ain't even tripping. Because the beginning, technical difficulties, all that, it threw me off totally. But thank y'all for rocking with me and staying on. We're gonna go to this now. Trump threatens Nigeria. Trump threatens to cut off all aid to Nigeria if they do not do something about the slaughter of Christians in the north. So they've received the ultimatum, and Trump ain't playing with them. So we're going to see how they respond.
Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by the thousands. It's a genocide, and I'm really angry about it. And we pay, we give a lot of subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They're very ineffective. They're killing Christians at will. And, you know, until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it.
This is so crazy. When it's some black people getting killed, they won't even give you a real news article over it. They did it. They talked about it, and then it was like, oh, back to this other stuff. I'll read the prompts. It ain't no issue. President Trump administration is picking up its efforts to address violence against Christians in Nigeria this week. This comes after Trump lashed out at the nation's government for having done nothing to stop the killings. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, chimed in on the horrific situation unfolding in Nigeria.
I served in Nigeria helping train their Navy SEALs for hostage rescues and to go find these girls. And Harris, it is horrific what is happening to them right now. We were able to get many of them back, but not all of them. And as a father of a daughter, it's just horrific to think little girls, 8, 9 years old, being kidnapped out of their schools and sold into Islamic sex slavery.
Donald Trump has threatened to cut off aid to Nigeria if it continues to allow the killing of Christians. War Secretary Pete Hegseth met with Nigerian National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu last week. Hegseth emphasized the need for Nigeria to demonstrate commitment and take both urgent and enduring action to stop violence against Christians, and conveyed the department's desire to work by, with, and through Nigeria to deter and degrade terrorists that threaten the United States. Singer and songwriter Nicki Minaj called for global action to defend Christian Nigerians at the United States mission to the United Nations. She says faith is under attack in too many places, citing her personal values as a reason for advocating for the cause.
The singer, Nicki Minaj, is calling for global action to defend Christian Nigerians at US missions to the United Nations. She says that faith is under attack in too many places, citing her personal values as a reason for advocating for the cause.
This isn't about taking sides. This is about standing up in the face of injustice. It's about what I've always stood for my entire career, and I will continue to stand for that for the rest of my life. I will care if anyone, anywhere, is being persecuted.
US President Donald Trump has said he'll take action in Nigeria after Islamic extremist groups captured and murdered thousands of Christians over at least the past decade.
Sky News digital presenter Gabriella Power says Nicki Minaj turned heads at the UN after she called out the world's failure to defend religious liberty.
Look, finally, Nicki Minaj, who's of course known for her rap music, turned heads at the United Nations. The superstar used her platform to call out the world's failure to defend religious liberty. She's now backing President Trump's efforts to address violence against Christians in Nigeria. Let's just take a listen to what she said.
Faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray.
Credit to Nicki Minaj. Esther, why is Nicki Minaj one of the few celebrities actually speaking out on this issue?
Because surprisingly, she's one of the few celebrities with the moral compass. And she's picked up on a story that has been largely ignored by much of the Western media. I mean, this year alone, 7,000 Christians in Nigeria have been murdered. Since 2010, you had tens of thousands of churches that have been burnt or attacked. You have whole dioceses in certain parts of the country that are being brutally slaughtered on a daily basis. And for her to say this and to actually give credit to President Trump for highlighting this, you know, it's cost her, I believe, on recent estimates, 100,000 followers.
Wow.
But I think what she's gaining is a lot more, which is obviously putting attention on this critical issue. And you don't really hear about the persecution of Christians and being taken that seriously. I mean, the number that we just heard quoted, 7,000 killed in Nigeria so far this year, that's the highest number of Christians killed anywhere in the world combined. So it's clearly a massive issue that's being carried out by Islamist groups like Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen. And yet no one is speaking about it, because if you have to praise Donald Trump for actually, you know, bringing attention to this, you'd rather stay silent in the corridors of Hollywood and protect your fickle fan base than actually draw attention to a real crisis and a real tragedy.
I mean, what does it say about the 100,000 followers that stopped following Nicki Minaj when she was highlighting violence against Christians in Nigeria? I mean, Nick, what do you make of that?
I think it's unfortunately indicative of what we see on the left in a lot of these conversations these days. And for some reason, the left has decided that there's virtue in weakness. And because they perceive that Christians are in the majority in the Western world, they can't conceive that potentially Christians in Africa or, you know, Jews in the Middle East could potentially be the victims of their circumstance. So I give Nicki Minaj a ton of credit for speaking out. I hope she continues to do it. I hope she inspires others to speak out. But it's a really sad day when it takes, you know, a Hollywood rapper to speak out, to bring light to something, when, you know, there's a whole foreign policy establishment at the United Nations that exists theoretically to bring attention to situations just like this and put it to a stop.
All right, so I think we heard enough about that, but the reality here is that they don't care about faith. You know, at the end of the day, the Muslim religions are always going to be defended because those are the religions that basically validate and help them push this idea that you need to get rid of religion. Why would you get rid of the group that's being peaceful, or not fight to defend the group that's being peaceful, when you know that this protects the group that's being violent? I hear Muslim people say, oh, Islam is a religion of peace, but I never hear these people call out people who are committing acts of terrorism. I see them commit the acts and they say, oh, well, you got to understand what the other guy did. I don't know what the Christians in the north of Nigeria have done, but the reality is the left, they just pick one side and they stick to it. They're defending Islamists in Palestine, so therefore they can't speak out against the wrong that Muslims and Islamists are doing in Nigeria. That's the world we live in, especially the world where, you know, liberals are pretty much trying to make the rules. Nicki Minaj lost 100,000 followers for supporting or speaking out against the slaughter of Nigerians in the north of Nigeria. Why would you lose 100,000 followers for saying that you want people to stop dying? But you know who else people came at and basically bashed and attacked for wanting to stop genocide and killing? Well, it was Donald Trump. When Donald Trump said he wanted to stop the situation in Gaza because he wanted people to stop dying, the left ridiculed him. When Donald Trump said he wanted to stop the war in Ukraine because he wanted people to stop dying, they ridiculed him. These people celebrate death and slaughter because they are too cowardly to do it themselves. But I honestly believe it's getting there. Because the more, everything people, all these heinous acts, all these crazy acts that people are committing, is being done with these people believing in their mind that they're doing it because they're righteous. Hey, I'm right. You don't understand. It's not wrong for me to murder and kill and slaughter because I'm doing it for the right reasons. Well, everyone thinks they're doing it for the right reason. Ed Gein, the crazy guy who they made the movie Psycho off of, he thought he was valid in murdering those people and burying their bodies and using their skin to make all types of cups and bowls and dishes and stuff like that. In his mind, in his sick mind, he was justified in doing what he did. But it's so crazy that all murderers and killers, they have something that they believe justifies or rationalizes what they're doing. It's not okay. You think a bunch of people are just making this up about those Christians being slaughtered in the north of Nigeria? And then I got Nigerians, oh, it has nothing to do with Christianity. Well, what does it have to do with? I don't care what it has to do with. It ain't right. Did these people do something or commit some kind of crime that justifies them being slaughtered? Well, who cares about the religious ramifications? There should not be Islamists in the north of Nigeria killing people. And I don't understand why that's such a hard thing for people to wrap their minds around. But no one cares until it's them. Until they're on the other side of the machete, that's when they're going to be concerned. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hope Trump stops aid to Nigeria, because you're not going to tell me that a Muslim president is about to do anything to stop a bunch of Muslims who voted for him from slaughtering people in the north to take their land. That's his voter base. He's not going to do anything against them because those are the people who keep him in power. So why would he? Why would he? But also the Nigerian Christians are going to have to stand up. We're going to need some people, boots on the ground, making it clear about what's going on over there. But see, this is why I don't believe in the disarmament of a population. You always should have the means to defend yourself. And Nigeria's government took that away from them years back. And now look what's happening. You live in those regions, you go to bed every night hoping that a group of marauders don't just come in and slaughter you and your family just because. And I commend Nicki Minaj for speaking out against that. I'm glad she's doing it. And if you have an issue with that, then you're more part of the problem than you are part of the solution. Now we got to move on to this situation where Black folks are saying that the city of Chicago is only taxing Black neighborhoods, right? They're saying the city of Chicago is only taxing Black neighborhoods in an attempt to pay off a huge debt, $1 billion debt that the city has incurred or accrued due to their wanting to take care of illegal criminal alien migrants. They paid for almost 2 years now. They paid for the free housing of illegal immigrants. They paid for free food for illegal immigrants, and ultimately just made sure that every illegal immigrant that came into the city of Chicago had a pocket full of money to spend on whatever they wanted. Now, we've been losing audio on this here when we switch over to another tab, but let's see if we've remedied that situation.
And a couple of organizations here locally have band together to host what they're calling property tax bonfire, lighting the way to fairness. I want to bring in the executive director of one of those organizations, the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation, Dr. Richard Townsell. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Tell me about what you all are doing and why.
So over the past couple years, we've been doing a few property tax appeal sessions. Our organization works with an organization called the North Lawndale Homeowners Association. And so we've helped hundreds of people appeal their property taxes because the assessments ranged when we sat down with the assessor between 15 and 151% increase. And so, yes, so we decided, and our organization also is a developer of affordable housing. And so we own and manage 250 units. And we saw our property tax bills going up, astronomically. And so we decided to work with our neighbors to help people appeal. And I don't know of anyone who had a successful appeal of their taxes. And so then we went to the next level and appealed with Larry Rogers' office. And, some people got, some relief. But just today, our property tax bills came in and folks are seeing the average increase in North Lawndale is like 100%.
The average.
Yeah.
That is shocking. You've called this a broken property tax system.
Yes, ma'am, it is indeed. And we are doing sort of a Boston Tea Party kind of moment where we are going to have people bring their property tax bills and have different people give testimonials, folks that are residents, folks that are landlords, folks that are BOMA will be there, the Building Owners and Managers Association. So all sorts of folks, not just in our neighborhood, who see this as a big issue, as Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. And so this is a moment where we also believe that we're getting taxation without representation. So we're going to have a nice little bonfire and set a bunch of property tax bills on fire and talk about what our plan is going forward.
Yeah. What are some of the things you feel are needed to move the needle forward? And why do you think North Lawndale is experiencing this issue?
Well, I don't know why. I think one of the things they said is that because our organization and others have been doing a lot of development in North Lawndale, we are building, our goal is to build 1,000 single family homes on.
Man, nobody cares about this fool's goal. So basically, the reason why you came here and we're going over this is because we want to find out if Black residents are being disproportionately targeted with these tax increases, some of which are over 100% increases in their taxes. Why do we continue to vote for this inept leadership? Why do African American people continue to buy into this failed idea of socialism, even when it does nothing but cause them harm and cost them money? So I typed it into AI for a more comprehensive view of it. And from what AI is saying, I don't know if you guys can read that. I'll make it a little bit bigger, but it's saying, yes, reports based on analysis from the Cook County Treasurer's Office. So this is directly from the Office of the Treasurer, show that Black residents have been disproportionately impacted by recent Cook County tax increases, especially in South and West suburbs where many Black families live. These areas saw the largest property tax spikes, with one analysis noting that 13 of the 15 suburbs most affected had a majority Black population. This trend is linked to assessment increases that have been particularly high in these communities. Location: the largest increases were seen in the South and West suburbs, areas with a high concentration of Black residents. Specifics: one report found that 13 of the 15 hardest hit suburbs had a majority Black population, as detailed in the WTTW reporting. Reason: the disproportionate impact is attributed to higher assessments in these communities, a topic that has been covered by various news outlets. So based on the information that we're looking at, Black people have been unfairly targeted with these higher taxes. This is absolutely crazy. It's diabolical. All I can say is I told you so. I told these Black folks, stop supporting this dude, Brandon Johnson. I told you not to even elect this guy. because I know, just like Margaret Thatcher said, socialism works, but eventually you run out of other people's money. And Brandon Johnson ran on this idea, oh, the rich are going to pay their fair share, and we're going to make the rich pay this and pay that and pay that. Man, the rich left. And as is the case, when the rich leave, guess what? You've given them the permission to levy taxes, and they're going to levy them. Excuse me. So if the rich are gone, guess what? They're coming for you. They're going to get that money out of your butt. And now you have to pay the cost. But you get what you voted for. You get what you voted for. And until you stop voting for this mess, guess what? You're going to continue to get kicked in the butt. Yeah, they're going to rub you good on one side, but as soon as you give them the power, they're going to kick you in the behind on the other side. It's absolutely ridiculous. I understand it to an extent, but some of this stuff is even beyond my level of comprehension or understanding of Black folks. It's almost like we want to get abused sometimes just so we can have something to complain about. And I'll be here reporting it. And I hope you all keep watching. So we got about 48 people in the stream. We got 44 on YouTube. We got 4 people on Twitter. I want to know what you guys want to keep hearing about going forward. We're almost at the end of the year. I am really considering the content for the channel, what direction the channel is going to go in the new year. And I want to get some more feedback from you guys. The 45, 46 people who are here from YouTube, you guys are the people I want to build this channel around. I want to give you the content you want to see, and I want to bring in more people like the 46 people who are here on YouTube and the 4 people who are here from Twitter, or formerly known as X. Give me some ideas. Do some throwback shows. What do you mean by throwback shows, Isbin? What are some throwback shows? You guys got to tell me what you mean by throwback shows. I did the show about Tariq. That brought some people in, but at the same time, I'm not trying to make this a Tariq Nasheed channel. A lot of people, and I understand. I got a lot of subscribers off of that Tariq stuff, and a lot of those people, if they don't see Tariq, they're not going to watch. And I got a lot of subscribers from the No Jumper stuff. If they don't see No Jumper, they're not going to watch. So my mind tells me, look, I got to build around the people who are here, and there are more people like you who want to see what you want to see. I know the people are out there because I look at other channels and I see channels that, they're literally just reporting on this type of stuff. And guess what? They're getting lots of views. But, a lot of people don't understand how the YouTube algorithm works. So they don't understand, why isn't this channel going up and these channels are going up? Well, because their audience is clicking on the content, and then YouTube, once their audience clicks on it, YouTube sends it out to a new audience to get people from those new audiences to come to that channel, right? But here's the issue. I have a lot of people who are seeing this content and they're not clicking on it. And so YouTube says, hey, his audience is not even clicking on this, so why would we send this out to more people? That's the issue. So we can talk. So we either have to find out, I either have to find something that's generally appealing to all the people in the audience, which that's kind of hard to do because some people are just here for celebrity drama. Some people are here for political stuff. Or I have to probably just start over. Yeah, maybe do a hybrid show. Yeah, you're right. Just do a show touching all the topics, maybe create another channel and aim all my political stuff there, and then just tap in with that audience. We could do that. But maybe I'll do that on my other channel and then do hybrids here. Who knows? But I see people who are out here balancing it really well. I just haven't been able to do that for some reason. And it's probably just mostly me, my consistency. But I do feel like I've been pretty consistent lately. But what will help me greatly is if you guys watch the pre-recorded content too, the clips and all that stuff. That helps a lot. Because I don't know if I told you this, but I put my channel in like an AI grading system, and they gave this channel an A++. They said this channel is an A+, content wise, delivery, audio quality, visual quality. This channel has an A+. So we just got to get it to the right people. So guys, I don't know, share it on YouTube, share it on wherever. Let's get it out to the masses of people. Because now I know it's been, where the hell have you been, man? For real. It's been was looking for Tariq Nasheed content. I lured him back with that Tariq Nasheed show. But I'm not trying to make this like Morris World TV, man. We better than that. I'm not trying to be talking about Tariq Nasheed every night. Tariq is not even that important to talk about every night. But I don't know. I wish there was a way you could kind of take subscribers off. Then I just send the people who want to see it, and then you'll see it like it'll grow quickly. Because I'm looking at these channels, man. I'm like, same topics, 300,000 views, 95,000 views, 200,000 views. I'm like, come on, man. Are we this serious? Or is this where we are? But I'm not hating. I don't hate on any other channel. I appreciate these channels, and I congratulate them on all their success. Real talk. I congratulate them on all their success. But I'm just trying to join in on the success. That's all I can do. But we have one more topic to talk about tonight, and that is the Somalis of Minnesota. These Somalians have basically, I didn't even know that the Somalians in Minnesota were under protected status, right? I'm gonna take all that into consideration. Juggernaut has been out here, y'all. I see y'all. Wait, it's been, what are you saying? It's been, come up here. I can't understand what you're saying. Come up here. You can just come up here and tell me. Click the link. We used to talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff like what? Come up, Isbin. Maybe you can point me in the right direction. Maybe I've lost my way. All my old school viewers, my people who still rock with me, tell me what I'm doing differently that I wasn't doing before. I feel like when I got demonetized, I lost a lot of traction. A lot of people were like, bro, I don't see your channel no more. I'm not seeing you pop up in my feed, this and that. It could be because of me. It could be because of YouTube. I don't really know. But guys, I didn't even know that these Somalians, what you mean? We used to talk about, yeah, I'm trying to get back to talking about everything. Maybe you guys think I'm leaning into too heavily into political stuff. Maybe I need to get out of that. But yeah, I did used to talk about a lot of stuff, and I used to get people who wanted to debate back, but I think I cooked everybody so hard, a lot of them don't want to come back. You all good? Yeah, I like politics. Politics is fun, but maybe we need to dabble into that other stuff. But I didn't realize that these Somalians were here on protected status. I don't know why in my mind I just thought they all had came over here legally by going through the process. But apparently they're here under a protected status, and Trump is threatening to remove that protected status from these Somalians in Minnesota. And I'm not going to lie, based on what I'm seeing coming out of that place, I'm here for it. These Somalians in Minnesota, in my opinion, are getting, they're getting out of line. I hear a lot of anti-American rhetoric. I hear them saying things about America like as if they're oppressed here. I see people like Ilhan Omar. She's an American representative. She's getting real cozy with like terrorists and extremists and just saying things. She's saying things that aren't very American. And so I'm down with Trump putting these people on notice, letting them know, hey, look, either you're America first or you can go back to the country that you claim to love and the people you claim to love and adore, but you've run away from that place. Let's see what they're talking about. I'm going to share this tab and I'm going to click that.
Breaking news out of Washington and a big announcement from President Trump about Somalis living in Minnesota.
Tonight, the president posted on Truth Social, quote, I am, as president of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from, end quote. Now, we're working to learn the legality of the president's plan and the potential impact.
We know Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the United States, with the last estimate by Minnesota Compass at more than 79,000 people. Callan Gray is working on this in the newsroom, and Callan, reaction is coming in fast tonight.
That's right. Just in the last hour, Governor Walz responding, saying, quote, it is not surprising the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what he does to change the subject, end quote. Congressmember Ilhan Omar also pushing back, posted on X, quote, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay. According to National Immigration Forum, as of October, there were 705 people from Somalia in the U.S. with TPS, and we're working to get the total count here in Minnesota. Temporary protected status is meant for those whose home countries are experiencing civil unrest, violence, or natural disasters. Somali immigrants have been eligible since 1991. The Department of Homeland Security says this was most recently extended through March of next year. Homeland Security has the discretion to designate a country for TPS for periods of 6 to 18 months and can extend it if the country continues to meet the conditions for designation. I just spoke with Julia Decker with the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota. She explained typically TPS terminations have to be posted on the Federal Register before the date the country's designation is set to expire. I just checked Homeland Security's website in the last few minutes, and Somalia is still listed. Decker also explained this is not done state by state, so the federal government will have to end TPS for all Somali immigrants, not just those here in Minnesota. The Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations tonight.
Man, I don't care what the Minnesota chapter has to say. I'm with it 100%. If the Somalians that are here aren't behaving themselves and behaving in a way that's supportive of America, law and order, safety, liberty, freedom, and peace, well, then why will we bring more people from Somalia here, whether you're legal or not? America gave you protected status here so that you could be safe from the drama that's going on in your country. We didn't give you protected status here so that you could come here and raise your children to be little terrorists who hate America. See, they can have American citizenship and still have an anti-American attitude and mindset. I mean, they have Somalian citizenship, and look how they treat the country where they're from. So yeah, put them on notice. This is what the president is supposed to do. Put them on notice. Either you're going to get this crap in order or we're going to get you up out of here. Or at the very least, we're going to remove the protected status from you, and nobody else from where you're from is going to be allowed to come into the country. It seems, I don't know why, but it seems to me like the liberals of this country, like they're doing everything they can to tear this country apart. And the only question I ask these people is, okay, once you destroy America, you think you're going to be able to build it back up, put it back together with super glue? Yeah, we're going to make America better than ever with bubble gum and duct tape? No, you're going to let somebody destroy what you have because you don't appreciate it because you've always had it. You've never struggled. Go take a trip to Somalia for a week and then come back and say, do you want to turn this place into that place? Because Somalians going to be Somalians if you leave them to their own devices. And go over there. I mean, there's an area in Somalia that actually separated from the rest of Somalia called Somaliland because they were tired of the behavior of the radical Somalians who didn't want peace but wanted to just keep fighting all the time. So we know that they have the capability of like taking driving an area into total chaos to the point where people in their own country wanted to separate from them. We don't need that here. But what puts an end to all this stuff, if you, at the end of the day, if you really think about it, if the liberal states and cities would actually enforce the law, start putting people in jail for committing heinous crimes, Donald Trump doesn't have to do anything. So everything you're mad at Trump for doing, understand it's being done because you have leaders in states and cities who have totally neglected their duties as leaders, all in the name of attempting to appease everyone so that they can stay in power. And that's just not how the world works. It might, liberals, they might want it to work that way, but that's not how it works. And it's never going to work that way. I don't know why these people do that, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I think we're going to call it a night here. We had some technical difficulties earlier. Let's see if I can edit that stuff off. I appreciate everything you all do for this channel. I'll probably private this stream and then repost it later. So just so I could edit it and clean up all the nonsense that we had in the beginning. But be on the lookout. If you're watching in the playback, it will be taken down, edited, and reposted. So just wait for that, okay? We got this under control. Until the next time, do me a favor, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other. And I'm going to do a stream in the morning. Oh, Coco DeVille, I'll talk about that in the morning. Comey and Letitia James getting their cases dismissed. I'll talk about that in the morning. I'm going to go live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. or maybe 9 a.m. Pacific time. But I'm going to get a morning show. I told y'all through the Thanksgiving week, we're going to start doing some shows earlier just because I know y'all at home chilling and whatnot. So I'm going to do a show tomorrow early, and then I'll chop up everything and put it out throughout the day. And we'll see how that works for a while. Thank you guys for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me and this channel. Till the next time, peace.